Hi, Piano Explorers. Here we are in segment 4, and we're going to work on legato playing and intervals of a second. So the very first thing we're going to do before we get to the new part of the lesson is we're going to turn in our recital book to page 13. Now this is a new assignment for you this week, but it's not new information. This lesson talks about using the treble and bass staff joined together with the brace called the, you got it, the grand staff. And we're going to play this first line of music, the second line of music, the third line of music, and then this is something very special down here for you. Repeat the first 2 lines, which would be called the third verse of the music. So the third verse of the music starts back here at the beginning, and we play all of the first line of music and all of the second line of music. And this becomes our stop, our ending. Okay? So remember, this is the way of the roadmap for this piece of music. Verse number 1, we play line 1 and then line 2. Then because you have a repeat sign, you go back and you play line 1 and line 2 again. Then you go to line 3, and because it tells you here at the bottom, repeat the first 2 lines as your third verse, play line 1 and 2 one more time. So I'm going to show you that one more time. Play line 1 and 2. Repeat 1 and 2. Go to 3. 1. And now go back to the beginning and play line 1 and 2 just once. Okay? So the very first thing you do when you have a new piece of music to play is to clap and count. Are we ready? So this will be our rhythm part of our lesson today. We're going to count 4 beats in a group. We're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at your music. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Line 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I hope you noticed that line 1 and line 2, the clapping was exactly the same. So now let's pretend that we went back and did that twice. Let's go down to line 3. So line 3 is here at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That line of music was different with the clapping. And I want you to look at it. See how it looks different. This one was the same counting, but this one was different. This one didn't have a 2-beat note. This had 2 quarter notes instead. Okay? This was the same clapping, and this was different. This had a half note and then another half note. This had 2 quarter notes and a half note. So that makes up the rhythm. And when you're looking at your music, you're trying to decide which parts of this music is the same, which parts of the music are different. And it helps you when you're reading and you're learning your new music. Why bother to practice something that you've already done once and you did it perfectly, or maybe you took you 3 times to practice it? You don't have to keep practicing the clapping of something that you've already mastered. Okay, so then remember the hand position for this is exactly the same hand position. Right hand thumb on C, left hand 5 on the C below. Middle C and C below. Okay, so I'm going to play this through for you so you can hear it and you'll know what to practice. Right hand thumb on middle C, left hand 5 on the C below. Okay, I'm just going to turn that so you can see me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Line 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Go to the last line. Starts on G, E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. There we go. Okay? So that's what you're going to practice for your new piece this week. Now let's go into our book. So could you turn to page 35 for me in your lesson book? A book that looks like this. All right? So you see at the top of page 35, legato playing. Legato means smoothly connected. To play legato correctly, one finger must come up just as the other one goes down, just like the ends of a seesaw, like this. So if I played my 2 and my 3 and my 2 and my 3, I want to think of myself as sitting on a seesaw over here and my friend is on the other end. When I go down, my friend goes up. When I go up, my friend goes down. And just your fingers do the same thing, just like a seesaw, like that. You can try that anywhere on the piano. Okay, can you hear that? If I don't connect it, it sounds like this. Try that, okay? That's not connected. So the picture that tells us in the music to connect our music is called a slur. And that's the card that I showed you at the very beginning of the lesson. This is a picture of a slur. It means to play legato. Legato means to play smoothly connected. This is a picture of a 2-note slur, and this is a picture of a 5-note slur. So now I want you to understand something. Playing a 2-note slur is still connected, but the volume changes to the longer slur like this. If I play a 2-note slur, the first note is louder and the second note is softer, like this. So use less weight on the second finger. I want you to say loud, softer, loud, softer, loud, softer. Okay, and you try that. And then a longer slur, a longer phrase that has more than 2 notes, does this. This probably looks familiar to you from your math class, greater than, less than. So this is growing louder and growing softer. So if I play this note and then this note, it's getting louder, and then I go here, it's getting softer. So I'm going to play those 5 notes and you listen. Okay, did you hear it get louder and softer? So when you play your exercise, your 5-finger exercise, you can do that. Listen. Okay, and you'll be playing with what we call expression, all right? So now, if you look at page 35 in your book, you'll see that you have a slur for the first one. That's one musical thought or idea. We call it a musical sentence. Instead of calling it a sentence, we call it a phrase. So here's the first phrase, and then here's the second phrase. Okay, so the first phrase starts on a D. So it's starting on your second note of your 5-finger position, second finger, on a D, and it plays D, E, D, E, D, E, F. It goes up. And then the left hand starts, there's our F clef line, F, E, F, E, F, E, D. Okay, and there's a repeat sign at the end. So I'm going to play it for you. Right hand thumb on middle C, left hand 5 on the C below. But remember, in this piece of music, the second fingers begin. Don't connect it. Now connect it. And I'm going to do it again. When you go from this phrase to this phrase, you have to make sure that you release this note before you play that note. We don't want to connect this slur all the way to the end. So this is one idea, and that's the second idea. Okay? One more piece for you today, and this is intervals on the next page, page 36, of a second. So the seconds are exactly the same as steps. So here's a second going up from this note to the next note. That's 2, that's why we call it a second. From this note to this note, going down just 1, is a second, 1 to 2. You count the first note as 1 and the second note as 2. The first note is 1 and the second note is 2. Remember, when we go from a line to a space or a space to a line, we're only going down 2 notes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so remember that. We're not skipping any keys. We're not skipping any letters. We're going to the very next key, the very next letter, up or down. So here you go. Here's your piece here, page 36. And this talks about intervals of a second, just like we talked about. Starts on middle C for the right hand, and your left hand 5 on the C below. Remember, when we have a 2-note slur, it's loud, softer, loud, softer. Okay, so we're going to let you see how you do with that this week. And your theory will be page 20 and 21. So one page on the C position on the grand staff. You get to fill in all the names of these notes. You draw the notes up here. And then on page 21, they want you to draw slurs. Okay? Connect the first note of the first measure to the last note of the second measure. So make sure when you draw the slur that it points from the note you're going to that note. Okay? Don't go past the note, because that would make the slur longer. All right, well, good luck. That's a lot to do this week, but I know you can do it. And I will see you next week. Be well, be happy. See you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.